The deep sea hides creatures long thought gone, only to reappear when least expected. But what does it mean when something once declared extinct suddenly returns from the depths? From alien-like beings emerging from the abyss to shocking rediscoveries of animals once declared extinct, here are 30 extinct deep-sea creatures caught on camera. They don't look built for this kind of place. Translucent bodies, soft fins, and skin so thin the organs almost show through. Yet somehow they drift across the crushing depths like it's nothing, completely at ease where nothing else dares linger. One glides forward, its mouth slowly opening and closing as it noses through the silt. Another hovers nearby, still as stone, watching. There's no rush, no wasted movement, only quiet patience. And in that stillness, you start to feel like something's about to happen. Even down here, where pressure flattens everything, something always finds a way to keep moving. Quiet, slow, and maybe not entirely alone. In April 2016, a large group of researchers headed out into the deep sea in search of an undiscovered gem. In the video, you can see their vessel descending to the sea floor, scanning the area until they finally managed to capture this on film. Bright red and rarely seen, the ruby sea dragon glides through Australia's deeper coastal waters, blending into the swaying seaweed. Its frilly fins and dragon-like shape make it one of the most visually bizarre and elusive animals in the ocean. Spotting one in the wild is so rare, even scientists were stunned. Proof that the ocean still hides beautiful secrets. Imagine this. You're hanging out by the beach, enjoying the peace and quiet when suddenly a crowd starts to form near the shore. Intrigued, you decide to investigate only to see the extremely shocking reason for the commotion. Coelacanths are extremely rare, with sightings and catches being almost accidental. Once thought extinct for 66 million years, they dwell in deep waters and are rarely encountered, making each confirmed sighting a remarkable event in marine biology and exploration. Nobody expected to see a prehistoric relic wash ashore, especially not one thought gone for millions of years. There's already something odd about how the seafloor moves. At first it looks like nothing but coral and sand, until a flicker of motion breaks the stillness. Something out of place, drifting without a current. You'll want to keep watching. It's a crinoid, but unlike any you've likely seen before. Its arms unfurl like slow fireworks, each motion delicate but deliberate, propelling it just above the bottom. It pulses in the water like it's trying to swim but barely needs to try. Its movements are so graceful and alien you'd think it's floating through space, not on the ocean floor. The submarine drifts low over the ocean floor, passing over stones and pockets of dark sand. Everything seems still, until something shifts just barely in the distance. The camera slowly pans toward it, and that's when the strangeness begins to surface.
Little guy. Oh, it looks different to the other one that we're looking at, doesn't it? Doesn't have a dark head, it's got a little head.
What they found appears to be a short-nosed sea snake, crawling across the seabed with a silent, eerie grace. Its winding body and faint shimmer stand out against the murky bottom, moving like it's patrolling an area only it understands.
Fantastic, we've found another species. Oh, wow.
Fantastic.
Oh my gosh.
Its presence feels deliberate, like it's not just moving, but searching. Watching it slither through the deep leaves behind a chill you can't shake. The camera drifts gently just above the ocean floor, passing by coral rubble and scattered patches of algae. At first glance, nothing seems out of place, until something oddly shaped catches the light and breaks the illusion of stillness. Resting between the debris is a spotted handfish, its fins splayed like limbs as it sits motionless yet alert. Even in complete stillness, it feels like it's watching, waiting, existing in some quiet space between camouflage and curiosity. Its strange hands look ready to walk instead of swim, making it one of the ocean's most peculiar bottom dwellers. It's not every day you catch a glimpse of something like this. The camera drifts through deep, dim waters when a shape begins to emerge from the haze. Slow, deliberate, and completely out of place. Something strange is coming into view. Its skin looks rubbery, almost pale pink, stretched tight over a long snout and jaw that seems far too flexible. With each subtle movement, the body seems to shift unnaturally. You've probably never seen anything quite like this before. It hovers in silence, jaws slightly open, revealing rows of fine teeth. Everything about it feels ancient, like something evolution forgot to finish. The camera hovers quietly over a reef, colors muted by depth but still glowing faintly beneath the surface. At first, nothing seems out of the ordinary, until something almost translucent starts drifting slowly into frame, barely catching the light as it moves. Its body pulses softly like a ghost made of glass, patterned with faint spots that seem to shift with every angle. It glides near the corals, weightless and quiet like it doesn't belong to this world at all. The longer it floats, the less real it feels, like something imagined into life just long enough to be caught on film. The sub drifts quietly above the ocean floor, its lights cutting through the darkness in thin beams. Everything feels still, untouched, almost like the deep sea is holding its breath. Then, just as the camera pans left, something comes into frame, and you won't believe what happens next. What looked like fabric in the water turns out to be alive. Long sheets of flesh trail behind it, rippling with every movement as it presses closer. It doesn't swim past or drift by. It circles, brushes against the sub's surface, and then lingers like it's deciding what to do. It doesn't dart away like most creatures. Instead, it stays, slow, silent, and too curious for comfort, as if studying us back. A diver's camera drifts through an endless black, no landmarks, no sound, just the faint hum of equipment. Nothing moves for a while. Then out of nowhere, something faint begins to flicker in the distance, and you won't believe what it is.
Strange and elusive creatures that are very rarely observed in their natural habitat. Fewer than half a dozen have ever been captured on film or video.
Its teeth form a jagged grin, barely visible in the murk. A strange stalk sways from its head, pulsing softly like a signal. This deep-sea ambush predator, the anglerfish, lurks in darkness like a floating trap, just waiting for something to wander close.
This little angler, about 9 centimeters long, is named Melanocetus. It is also known as the Black Sea Devil, and it lives in...
It's the kind of creature you don't notice until it's too late, and that's exactly how it survives in the darkest corners of the deep. The deep sea feels endless, a quiet place where almost nothing stirs. But every now and then something passes through that shatters the calm. As the camera creeps forward, a pale figure starts to drift across the screen. Too smooth, too silent. With its soft, shadowy fins and dull, lifeless eyes, this strange creature barely seems real. Thought to be a ghost shark, it glides just above the seafloor like it belongs to another world entirely. The deeper you stare, the stranger it looks. Its rubbery skin, fused jaws, and eerie glow give it a haunting presence, perfectly suited for the lightless alien world it calls home. The man speaks with a calm tone, retelling what led up to this surprising catch. His words are measured, almost like he still can't believe it happened. Then, with the camera rolling, he finally lifts the thing into full view. He calls it a giant salmon carp. Its shape and scale are undoubtedly an eye-catcher. Its body stretches far longer than you'd expect, and the way its skin glistens feels oddly out of place. Some might call it a record breaker. Others might say it's not even supposed to exist. Whether it's a rare mutation or something entirely different, one thing's certain. This is no ordinary fish story anymore. The diver moves slowly, scanning the rocky seafloor for anything unusual. Visibility is decent, and everything seems quiet until something stirs near the edge of a rock. You probably wouldn't notice it at first, but it's definitely there. It glides just above the sand, round and flat with rippling movements that seem too precise for something so small. Its edges flutter with each turn, giving it an almost elegant motion as it circles the rocks. Not many people get to see this strange little ray up close. Its size might be small, but the way it moves demands attention, calm, graceful, and unlike anything you'd expect to find down here. The seafloor is calm, with only a few curious fish gliding by the stationary camera. Bits of sand drift slowly across the lens, nothing unusual at first until something massive begins to cast a shadow near the edge of the frame. Its body is long, dark, and absolutely out of place among the smaller fish. The sheer size makes the others scatter, but it moves with a calm that suggests it doesn't have to chase anything. Whatever this creature is, it dominates the entire scene without even trying. Its presence is so overwhelming, even the camera feels dwarfed. One slow pass and everything else suddenly feels small, quiet, and fragile. A large group of local fishermen head out to sea during their routine fishing job. At first, everything seems to be normal, with some of the fishermen getting good yields. Moments later, one of them calls the others to record after he catches this. Oarfish are extremely rare, with most sightings occurring only when they wash ashore or are accidentally caught. They dwell in deep ocean layers, making live encounters almost impossible and fueling the mystery surrounding these long ribbon-like sea creatures. Catching something this rare on camera leaves everyone stunned. For many, this is a once-in-a-lifetime glimpse at the ocean's strangest mysteries. There's not much going on at first, just the stillness of the deep, scattered rocks and patches of sand stretching out of view. Then something slow begins to creep into frame, moving in a way that barely stirs the water.
I can't even do it just as, oh wow. Wow.
Thick-bodied and almost sluggish, it glides across the sea floor like it's been doing this for centuries. Its movements are heavy but confident, built for darkness and pressure. With its rough skin and unblinking eyes, this deep-sea drifter looks like something straight out of a forgotten era. You can see it slowly at first, an enormous shape in the distance, circling the camera like it knows it's being watched. The silence makes every second feel longer. Then it starts coming closer, and that's when things get interesting.
My God, it's huge!
This six-gilled giant barely needs to move its fins to control the water around it. Its size alone is enough to make everything else in the frame look like background noise. And yet, it keeps circling, like it's deciding whether to come even closer.
That's what we saw is the...
There goes the bait. It was the lasers bouncing off of his body.
Yeah.
Two divers glide through the clear water, their bubbles rising in slow bursts as they move in perfect sync. The camera pans across the rocky seafloor, nothing out of place, until the divers slow down and start circling something strange. Perched on the seabed is a structure so massive and oddly shaped, it looks unreal. The Neptune's cup sponge was once thought extinct, but here it stands, wide-mouthed and still, like some underwater relic frozen in time, quietly dwarfing everything else around it. The camera drifts silently through the dark, the only light coming from the submersible's lens. At first, there's nothing but murky blue and silence until something flickers in the distance. You're going to want to pay attention to what appears. It's not just the creature that makes this moment special. It's the fact that it's never been seen alive like this before. This is the first confirmed footage of a living colossal squid in the wild, and it changes everything we thought we knew. The water looks thick and heavy, with particles floating everywhere like dust in sunlight. You can barely make out the shapes moving around until a massive shadow begins to glide beside the divers, slow and silent like something ancient. Despite the hazy quality, there's no mistaking the sheer size of what they're swimming with. The rounded head, enormous mouth, and sluggish grace suggest one of the ocean's rarest giants, a megamouth shark drifting close enough to touch. Few divers ever get this close to such a legendary creature. Encounters like this are beyond rare and completely unforgettable. The water's calm, filled with soft shadows and slow-moving light. Between pebbles and delicate aquatic plants, something darts in and out, its movement careful, as if sensing every ripple and vibration. You almost miss it at first glance. Covered in subtle purples and scattered markings, this fish blends in easily with its surroundings. But the longer you watch, the more it stands out. It's a southern purple-spotted gudgeon, once thought to be gone in certain regions, now swimming calmly, undisturbed. Once believed lost, this elusive fish returns quietly, thriving where few expected. Its reappearance proves nature's resilience in even the smallest corners of the water. In this next encounter, a number of nautilus shells can be seen being hauled up after getting trapped. A man then quickly inspects the trap and signals to the camera. Finally, they are able to catch what they were looking for, and you won't believe what it is. The rarest known nautilus species is the Allonautilus scrobiculatus. It was unseen for over 30 years until rediscovered in Papua New Guinea. With its fuzzy shell and limited range, it remains elusive and barely documented, adding to its scientific intrigue. After decades of vanishing from sight, this rare nautilus finally surfaces, its discovery offering scientists a precious glimpse into ancient marine evolution. Everything feels still at first, just sand, rocks, and empty blue stretching in every direction. Then something shifts in the water ahead, and your focus sharpens. Whatever that is, it's not shaped like anything you're used to seeing down here. The creature floats with an odd stiffness, as if designed more for lurking than swimming. Its jagged mouth and glowing lure give it a haunting look. This is the Pacific football fish, rare, deep-dwelling, and almost never seen alive in its natural habitat. Most people will never see this creature in motion, let alone alive, making this sighting incredibly rare and scientifically invaluable. At first glance, nothing seems unusual. The camera sways gently underwater, the current revealing nothing but murky stillness and faint silhouettes in the distance. Then, just past the haze, something begins to swim closer, and it's not what you'd expect. The outline becomes clearer as it moves with slow, heavy strokes, its form built for power and precision. This is believed to be a spear-toothed shark, one of the most elusive river sharks on Earth. Most people will never see one in motion like this. Rarely seen and difficult to study, the spear-toothed shark remains one of the most mysterious predators in freshwater environments today. The video opens with a wide shot of the tank, murky, quiet, filled with floating particles catching the light. Visitors watch through the glass, but nothing grabs attention just yet. That changes fast, and what appears next is hard to miss. With its long serrated rostrum slicing through the water, the longcomb sawfish glides past like a living relic. Its massive body and unusual snout make it look more ancient than alive, stirring curiosity and unease in equal measure. Once common, these sawfish are now critically endangered, making live sightings like this incredibly rare and important to document. Imagine placing a camera thousands of feet below the surface, leaving it to roll in total darkness. Hours pass, maybe more, until finally something creeps into view. You can't tell what it is at first, but it definitely isn't ordinary. It lumbers across the seafloor, its armored body reflecting the light in a dull shimmer. This giant deep-sea isopod doesn't swim. It crawls, surveying its world in slow, deliberate motions. Watching it move feels like witnessing something ancient, something that shouldn't still exist. The deep-sea isopod looks like a relic from another time, quietly surviving in places humans can barely reach or understand. Some things in the deep don't announce themselves. There's no flash, no sudden movement, just the slow realization that what you're seeing isn't normal. Then from somewhere off screen, it glides in with limbs that seem far too long to exist.
Weirdest looking things. There's not been a whole lot of sightings of them, I don't think. Are we not?
Can we focus?
They bend at impossible angles, trailing behind like loose wires, each one moving independently as if searching for something. The body in the middle just floats, small, almost insignificant compared to the arms it commands. It doesn't move like a squid, but something else entirely. Something you won't stop thinking about. Creatures like this challenge everything we know about life underwater. Graceful, alien, and almost too strange to be real, but undeniably alive. A diver drops lower into the open blue, surrounded by particles drifting like dust in a forgotten room. No walls, no floor, just layers of slow underwater snowfall. Then something huge and faint starts to take shape in the distance. Its body is nearly invisible, like a floating jelly sack stretched around a twitching core. This giant larvation filters water through its ghostly bubble, creating one of the most bizarre natural structures in the ocean, and you've probably never seen anything like it. Think of a scenic view of a lake surrounded by hills and nature. Beautiful, isn't it? Of course it is. Anybody in their right mind would jump at the opportunity to relax in such a place. Unfortunately, we're not the only ones to share the same sentiment. Ogopogo is a legendary lake monster said to dwell in British Columbia's Okanagan Lake. Described as a long, serpent-like creature, it's been part of local folklore for centuries. Sightings often describe it surfacing briefly before vanishing beneath the waves. So is that really just a trick of the light, or did we just catch Ogopogo surfacing for another brief, chilling visit?